This is gonna be my first impression of the Phearable Stage 3 Flex Fuel tune. I just flashed the car, so I'm gonna have a bunch of lights on the car. I'm gonna have to drive for a little bit. I need gas very badly, so this will also be my first time mixing E85 and trying to get to E20, and I'll explain why I'm only doing E20 in a second. Almost 2.5, dude, I have almost had this car for 3 years. For almost 2.5 of those years, I have been using the Phearable Stage 2 tune, and I absolutely love this tune. I think it is a perfect amount of power. You still have the, you know, ease of having the stock turbo and all that sort of stuff. It's just great. And the maximum amount of power that John Vega was able to dyno with this tune, the 93 octane tune, is 386 wheel horsepower, with the same exact modifications that I have on my car. So I'm assuming I have 386 horsepower. I'm actually texting John Vega right, well, I'm not texting and driving, and I was telling him I don't have the version that has the multi-tune feature. So I guess the Flex Fuel tune, the new one, has the same abilities to change maps. So I'm gonna get that soon. Maybe next video I'll have that one so I can go through the different maps and tell you how it feels. But as for today, I'm guessing I'm gonna be going from 386 horsepower to 410. Because if you look at this chart right here, this shows you all the different power levels that you get with this Flex Fuel tune. And since I have not upgraded my fuel pump, John recommends not going over E20. I just used an ethanol content calculator, and it told me that I need to add 1.4 gallons of E85 and then fill the rest of the tank up with 93. So hopefully that gets me, you know, exactly to E20 or close. I don't know what happens if you have more than E20 on the stock fuel pump. Like, does the car just, I don't know. I guess we'll find out if it comes to that. Time for some E85. This is pretty cool. This is really close to my house, this place called Thornton's. So I'm taking a different approach. Instead of filling the car all the way up, I put 6.5 gallons in, and to get to E20 you put 1 gallon of E85 per 6.5 gallons. So 6.5 gallons of 93. Now I just need to put 1 gallon of E85. All right, I don't want to go over because I don't want to stress the fuel pump. All right, 1.019, that's pretty darn good. Now I'm assuming you need to drive the car around just for a couple minutes to get the fuel all sloshing around and mixed together. So maybe you guys can help me in the comments figure this out, but I don't see what the point is of connecting your head unit to the Wi-Fi sensor of the Flex Fuel Kit, because I don't, like, I connected it, but I don't understand how you read the ethanol content. So I'm just gonna turn that off and connect my phone to it. Okay, now that I disconnected my head unit, this is available. How do I set this up so that it just tells me in the, like, the name of the Wi-Fi sensor? Oh crap, John already sent me the updated Flex Fuel tune with the multi-tune feature. I finally got it up and running. It only says I have 16% ethanol. Maybe that E85 at Thornton's is really weak. You know what? What's the difference between E17 and E20? I think I'm just gonna give it a shot. See how we do right now. But so far, driving normally, it feels really good. I mean, it feels just like the other tune. And I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking about my calculations with the E85 mix. When I said I put 6.5 gallons in the car, I was on, my mileage remaining said 0. So I had like no gas left in the tank. At E17, I don't think I'll be breaking traction in third gear. Okay. That is definitely an improvement. 1000% that is faster. Holy crap. Okay, let's try second gear. Second gear, here we go. Yep, okay. Oh my god! Whoa, dude. Dude. Dude, this is so much faster already. You gotta be kidding me, dude. This is, I can't believe how does that make that big of a difference? Okay, this makes me kind of want to go to the gas station and put a little bit more of E85 in. Try to get to E20. I just put 0.162 gallons of E85. Oh, look at that! A Boost Blue FL5. Nice. All right, so E18. Nice, okay. Maybe that E85 is really weak at that gas station. Either way, we're pretty darn close to E20. I'm gonna try a third gear pull. Damn. All right, here we go. Oh, baby! What? This thing is so fast. It's bouncing between E17 and E18, so I'm guessing that means it's at like 17.5%. I know I'm like getting semantics right now, you know, but this thing will probably beat a lot of cars at E30. But, you know, I would need an updated, oh my god, that was not that I was doing anything wrong. I did not go over the speed limit, but yeah. This makes me really want to take this to Bradenton Motorsports Park at another street heat event and see how this does. Yeah, baby. This way for Tampa. All right, let's try, let's do second gear. Let's go, buddy boy. Oh my god! This thing is an animal. Dude, that was so fast that flung my phone back. Yeah, baby. I wonder if it feels different in comfort mode. Probably does, right? Let's do a nice chill fourth gear pull. Why not? We'll do it at 4,000 RPM. Oh yeah. Yeah, comfort mode only went to 20 PSI, so that felt different. Well, let me do a linear test, right? If you're doing an experiment, you need your controlled group. The control group is the fourth gear in comfort mode, and now let me do the other group, whatever you call that. I'll go to sport mode at 4,000 RPM, same thing. See how many PSI we get. 24, yep, she hauls. She's quick, baby. Alrighty, plus R mode. It only showed 24 PSI, but it still felt, oh my god, this gains speed so quickly now. Same PSI as sport mode, but it still felt stronger. So, those are my observations, man. This thing is pretty sick. You know what I absolutely love about this car, about having a boosted car, is that little can't get enough of that. So here's what's been going on behind the scenes. I dropped the BRZ off at Caliber Collision to get that warranty work done because they did not connect the wiring harness for the light that's on the bottom of the door card on the driver's side door. So that light just doesn't work because it's not connected to anything. And also the dim dome lights, they're gonna fix that. Oh, the other thing was that little piece on the mirror cover. That, like, the deal was Marco was able to convince them to let me take the car, and then I was supposed to bring it back when that part came in so they could put it on, because I was tired of waiting for the car. And then I just never brought the car back. So that's the other thing. So I'm gonna get all that stuff taken care of. The car has been there since Tuesday. It's now Saturday. It's probably gonna take a while. They probably had to order that wiring harness. Those freaking people. So as soon as the BRZ is back to 100%, I'm gonna put it back to stock as quickly as possible, sell it, and then I'm going to buy my third and final 9-gen Civic Si. That is the plan. Unless a super good deal on a mint condition 8th gen SI comes up. But I mean, I already have I've been putting together a build list for 9th gen, and oh my god, I'm so excited. I'm finally going to build a 9th gen like I've always wanted to. That probably sounds stupid and lame to a lot of people, but dude, the 9th gen is just such a good car, man. It really is. Yeah, baby, let's get some boost. Oh yeah, brother. Are you kidding me? Let's do one more. One more for the people watching at home. Here we go, second gear. Yep. Oh, she's quick. So yeah, my first impressions, this is a huge difference over the regular Stage 2 93 octane tune. And what's so cool about this is that I don't have to put E85 in the tank. I could just use 93 octane, or, you know, 91, but they don't have 91 here, thank God. So if I'm somewhere that doesn't, if I'm on a road trip and I stop at a gas station that doesn't have E85, I don't have to sweat it, and the car will be perfectly fine. That is so cool, dude. Yeah, she just wants to go, man. I am still waiting on the J's Racing rear diffuser. I contacted, what's it called? Togue Factory Works, TF Works. I contacted them about the status of my order a couple weeks ago, and they said it should ship out in like March. So it's definitely longer than the 4 months that I was originally estimated, but that's okay. I mean, whatever. The crappy thing about that is that was, I don't know, like $1,800 of my money that's tied up, and I don't have anything to show for it yet. But you know, that's how it goes. That's okay. All right, my friends. At the end of this video, I'm going to be doing my top 10 favorite movies. 2 videos ago, I did my top 10 favorite albums with a bunch of honorable mentions. Before I get into the list, I'm just gonna say I have an old soul. I feel like I was born in the wrong time. I was born in 1995. I feel like I should have been born in like 65. So I'm gonna start off with number 10. This is my top 10 list. I just threw this together last night. Okay, number 10 is True Lies. This is with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis. This is an all-around freaking classic 90s action film. Number 9, I'm gonna come at you with a pretty strong opinion after I tell you this one. Number 9 is GoldenEye. That was Pierce Brosnan's debut as James Bond, I think in the mid-90s. I have very fond memories of playing the GoldenEye video game on the Nintendo 64 with my cousins when I was a kid. And I used to watch GoldenEye on VHS. My controversial opinion is that Pierce Brosnan was the best James Bond. I think I already said that in a video once, but yeah, I just think he's the best. Maybe it's nostalgia because, you know, those movies were coming out when I was a kid and getting into movies, but going back and watching all the James Bond movies, I really do feel like he was the best. Number 8, Scarface. Scarface is Scarface. Number 7, The Fast and Furious. I had to have at least one of the Fast and Furious movies in there. And the first one, I do think it's a little better than the second. It has a feel to it. And you guys know, obviously, everyone watching has seen The Fast and Furious. That might have been the movie that got me into cars. I always liked cars as a kid. Yeah, I think I owe a lot to that movie. I think we all do. Okay, number 6. This one's really basic, but I just like it. Number 6 is Avengers Endgame. Number 5 is Interstellar. If you haven't seen Interstellar, you should. Number 4 is Predator. Now we're getting, the next 4 are from the 80s and 90s. Yeah, number 4, Predator. Dude, I'm so lucky that I had the upbringing I did. So my grandmother, Bonnie, whenever I used to go over, she had bookshelves and bookshelves full of VHS tapes of like 70s, 80s, 90s action movies.
like all the Bruce Willis stuff, all the Mel Gibson stuff, Arnold, Sylvester. So that's where I got my taste in cinema from, was probably exclusively from her. The first time I watched this was definitely on a VHS tape. Number 3, this one, dude, I also watched this on VHS. My dad had this on VHS. It's called Heat. This is 1995, Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, Al Pacino. Number 1 and 2 are very, very close to each other, and I had to put a lot of thought into this to figure out which one I was going to put at number 1. Number 2 is Rocky 3. I am an enormous fan of the Rocky movies. The Rocky movies and Arnold Schwarzenegger, all of his movies, they got me into like working out when I was a kid. My dad actually bought me the Arnold Schwarzenegger encyclopedia, which I still have. Actually, no, it's still at the house in Maine, but I would go through that all the time and try those workouts. Anyway, yeah, dude, after watching a Rocky movie, how can you not be motivated? Like, it's impossible to be unmotivated after you watch any Rocky movie. So, Rocky 3, what a frickin' movie that is. Number 1 is Rocky 4. I think I've flip-flopped over the years saying Rocky 3 and Rocky 4 are my favorite. But giving it some really intense thought, I think Rocky 4 does it a little better. It's got, I mean, that scene after Apollo Creed dies, after Drago kills him in the ring, and then Rocky's at his house, he's all depressed, and then he gets into his Ferrari, and that song No Easy Way Out by Robert Tepper kicks in. Oh my God, dude. Just, that's probably one of my favorite scenes. That might be my favorite scene, period, in cinema history. Dude, after watching Rocky 4, I just want to jump up off the couch and get stuff done. So yeah, those are my top 10. I'm going to just blaze through some honorable mentions right now. American Made with Tom Cruise, Spider-Man No Way Home, Wolf of Wall Street, The Sandlot, Independence Day, Big Trouble in Little China, Assassin, Tango and Cash, Olympus Has Fallen, Ace Ventura. Dude, Jim Carrey, man. He makes me laugh more than any comedy actor. Jim Carrey movie, I am for sure going to laugh, even if I've already seen it 10 times. And then Pain and Gain and the Austin Powers movies. So those are my honorable mentions. And I could put like 50 more honorable mentions, but I'll keep it short and sweet. So I hope you guys enjoyed that top 10. Let me know if any of my top 10 movies are in your top 10 as well. And thanks for watching. Ellie. Say bye. Say bye, babe. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.